Hey guys, welcome to episode number XRP Ripple of Barstool Bitcoin. Today we're going to be going over some of the news. There's some more positive stuff, some more negative stuff. I'm on the line with my co-host Weil. What's up, Weil? Where are you at today?
Still in Ottawa,
Still
just soaking up
bearing through
all
that
the
heat wave?
yeah, just soaking it all up. I think today's the last day, so we're gonna deliver some positives and negatives in this episode, and that's about it. So there's a ton of negative news that I'm seeing all over the web, Facebook, crypto news sites, which to me is actually good because when crypto blew up and you saw like everybody posting about crypto, everybody was like a Bitcoin, professional or whatnot. Now you're seeing all this bad news. So, Bitcoin's going to zero, all these coins are dying. I think like it's just the media. That's the whole, when the media tells you to sell, you buy, and when they tell you to buy, you sell type of thing. So I like seeing all this bad news, as weird as it sounds.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything too bad, like nothing crazy that dumped the market or anything. Bitcoin's holding pretty steady since yesterday. But there were like quite a few stories out there in the last 24 hours that were a bit negative. The one that caught my eye was a Chinese billionaire. He's like a Bitcoin billionaire. He owns a fund. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce this dude's name, but he outed like a whole bunch of people in crypto as just fraudulent. Basically, he released this recording. I don't know if he released it or if it was leaked actually, but he called out like a ton of the big names in crypto, literally calling them cheaters and scammers. So there's like a huge uproar right now in China, in mainland China. He founded Bitfund, which was like a fund that they created a few years ago. I think in 2013 they created it, and they only had a couple mil, and now Bitfund is one of the most influential VC firms in crypto in China. So
Wow.
he is pretty authoritative, and he came out and just completely torched like a whole bunch of coins and CEOs and founders of the coins. Like, for example, he called Qdom a
A
complete
scam.
garbage coin. Yeah, yeah. So and he goes in and actually justifies it. So I think that's pretty telling of what's happening in the crypto space. A lot of people, even seemingly legitimate coins, are being outed as scams because they don't have any kind of underlying business model that's going to power them long term. They're literally just pumping money in and out and manipulating the coin, accumulating, and probably then consolidating to Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, I saw that, I think it was Steve Wozniak. He was saying that blockchain is a bubble, but he's still amazed with Bitcoin, and he was saying that these blockchain companies are only hurting themselves trying to release now, and that aren't able to keep up in the long term, and they're just hurting themselves. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit going on right now with Bitcoin and crypto in general. We're definitely in a bubble. When the bubble is going to pop, nobody really knows, and what's going to happen when the bubble pops, nobody really knows. But just like anything, you know, the value won't go to zero. Look at the
yeah,
internet bubble, the internet bubble popped and then it got a lot harder to make money, and the stock market, the internet stocks weren't going as crazy as they were, but they rebounded. Like if you look at Amazon stock or Facebook stock or, Google stock over the last 10 years, like they're all crushing it, year on
yeah.
year.
Well, if you got into the top internet companies, so during the dot-com bubble, like you're wealthy, or you're a millionaire or whatever, you're loaded. It's the top companies, like you named Amazon. There was HP. There's a few more, and if you invest in these companies as soon as the stock market crashed, yeah, you're fucking loaded. So imagine Bitcoin and the whole market crashed, and you pick the top five or top six companies. top 6 coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and you get it at the lowest price possible, and then you just ride it from that day on, I think you're totally a winner.
Yeah, those are the blue chips, right?
Yeah,
So you
those
have
are the
less
blue
risk.
chips. I'm not playing any shit coins right now, and I wouldn't be playing them closer to when I feel the market would pop again, and that's when Bitcoin rises back to the 30, 40, 50 K, not back, but bursts into those for
Yeah, creates a new market cycle.
yeah, creates a new market cycle.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the blue chips are pretty, I mean, fairly safe as it stands now. Like the top five, let's say, except for Ripple's a bag of shit. They got hit with like another
A
lawsuit
lawsuit.
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah.
They got hit
So
with a lawsuit.
and Tezos was remember Tezos? They were I think the biggest or the second biggest ICO
Yeah,
of
they
last
took
year,
they took
2017.
the first place and then they got knocked out by Filecoin, I think. But they
Right.
did like break
But they got
history.
hit by like tons of lawsuits, and they went through a huge battle. But they just launched their beta net, and they announced like the dates for their main net. It took like a long time, like
For
almost
sure.
a whole year. Like they were in a class action lawsuit. All this shit was hitting them, and they somehow made it through on the other side, which I guess shows the legitimacy of the coin. It's actually holds some utility.
Yeah, the CEOs are fighting with each other publicly, which is never good on Twitter and stuff like that, calling each other out. You know what? Like honestly, I wouldn't have bought that coin like during that whole legal battle and whatnot they were going through, but people who did, and the people who held on to their coins and then they prospered through all their
Yeah, they just
battles.
hodl.
Now they're laughing. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
100%.
That's
Tezos
a
is sitting
perfect.
at, where are they? Tezos is like number 19 in total market cap right now.
Yeah, you see, so people who hodled there, they're laughing. Good hodl. That's a good one for you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. And another infrastructure coin, right? Like their smart contract
Yeah,
platform. So, I mean,
yeah.
I think those are have shown utility
They're
in
the
the
better type.
past. Ethereum, EOS has been making news headlines. Tezos.
Yeah. You know what?
So,
Speaking about EOS, a former CEO of a huge global investment banking firm in Asia has left and has joined EOS's 1 billion
yeah,
venture
their
capital.
fund. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fund, and I think what they're doing is they're just putting other cryptocurrencies and other projects onto the EOS mainnet onto their platform. Uh, just like Tron did. I think Tron was offering $1 billion as well for any cryptocurrency project that's on ERC20, so Ethereum's platform, to transition to Tron's platform. So they're offering money and they're offering, incentives for coins to start on these types of mainnets because I don't think Tron, I don't know, I don't think Tron's mainnet is up, but the coin to do the first ICO via Tron or via EOS would definitely get a lot of press. Um, and it's new, so
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about Tron though? Like some people say it's awesome, some people say it's a huge scam. Like, what's your
yeah.
opinion?
With the CEO, what's his name, Justin. Honestly, I haven't really invested into Tron. I more traded it. I'm not a believer into it. I don't believe in it really fundamentally. But with their launch of the mainnet and their, advertising and offering incentives for other companies to join their mainnet, it kind of shows more legitimacy. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they'll just because people were thinking they might run off with all the Tron they have because they have millions of Trons and they've been selling it maybe slowly and secretly. I'm not really sure of the politics, but I think it's harder for a cryptocurrency whole company to fold its blockchain, and maybe when Tron gets tens or twenties or hundreds of other cryptos on it, then I think it's harder for it just to fold up and steal everybody's money rather than it just being a single coin and it actually being like an infrastructure and hosting tons of coins. So we'll see with Tron. I
Yeah.
prefer a lot of different blockchain development apps than Tron though. I wouldn't, if I was going to place it, I'd probably place it on ERC20 like Ethereum. I wouldn't pick Tron though.
Well, we got the Aussies in the mix as well. They Huobi, which is their main exchange. They launched
Nice.
some pretty good investment plans. They confirmed trading on the platform, and it's the fourth largest in the world. So they got like 700 million in daily trade volume, which is pretty good. And they launched with 10 pairs. So they have like the top ones, obviously: Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Ether Classic, Bitcoin Cash. But they announced like lots of plans to open up more trading pairs. And also we got the Swiss in the mix, which is traditionally, a huge banking country, a nice paradise in the world, but they're like a traditional type banking state or a
Yeah.
country, and the banks have or the financial sector has announced that they're gonna welcome crypto companies, which is pretty cool. They're gonna they basically said that all of the banks around the world are not giving a fair shot for
For
bank
crypto.
servicing for
Yeah.
crypto companies, and they said it's a significant competitive disadvantage. So if you look at countries like Singapore or Malta, they're super active and leading the way in crypto with in terms of like their relationships with the banks. So I think I'm looking for Switzerland to be like pretty big in this sector. They're going to come
Yeah.
in hard and strong, I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. I mean, it's they've been known for traditional banking for like, decades and decades, for a long time. They have tons of global institutions set up
Yeah. The
there,
Swiss
have their
banks.
operations in the Swiss. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's big potential for crypto over there.
Yeah, well, you touched on Malta. They actually passed three bills today that establishes regulatory framework for blockchain technology. So the three bills cover ICOs, guidelines for crypto exchanges, and broader regulations for cryptocurrency and blockchain sectors. So Malta's a beautiful island, and they're basically crypto pro now. And I think they're one of the first communities to actually have all their bills established, and they don't, what I'm trying to say is they don't give a hassle to people opening up accounts to buy and sell Bitcoin. They have
Yeah,
cryptocurrencies
they're
launched, they have
encouraging it.
ICOs, and they're encouraging it. And same with South Korea, they're drafting a major classification for blockchain industry, and it's supposed to serve for policymaking and exchanges, transactions, and applications hosted on the blockchain network as well. So a lot of countries are trying to move forward with enabling these new drafts and allowing people to invest into cryptocurrency. I think if you don't, they're just going to end up doing it anyways, and the country will just lose maybe the profits they were going to make on it, and maybe like the legal structure. They would be like kind of protecting their own citizens and their own people by putting these types of things up so people don't get scammed. Or if they're trying to buy Bitcoin, let's say we talked about India, it's super hard to buy Bitcoin there. So now people are going to have to do it internationally, or maybe locally, which could be dangerous, if you're using cash, or if you send it abroad and you get scammed. So I think it's just bad for these countries trying to shut it down. It's just bad for their citizens.
Yeah, well, South Korea, they banned ICOs for a little while, right? But then now with this, I mean, that's like, it's the first time that the government is basically recognizing crypto as legit. So that's really good news. They know that Korea is a powerhouse in crypto. They're one of the biggest holders in all of crypto. So per capita, I mean,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, we need these countries with the people who have all this crypto. We need these countries to legitimize crypto and lead the way for blockchain technology. Otherwise, it's going to take a lot longer if they just fight it.
Hmm. No, I agree.
There's definitely some scamming still going on though, like out there and everywhere. I mean, but the Thai government, they also just recently confirmed that they were going to regulate ICOs, which is another piece of good news there. I mean, the more
Yeah, I think
countries that come out and legitimize crypto or ICOs, the better. I mean, they're saying in July, so this month, that
yeah,
it's going to release their ICO regulations.
because a lot of ICOs are people are claiming them as securities. I think that's why XRP was being sued because it's XRP is uh, still in its ICO period, and it's been probably the longest ongoing ICO, and they've sold. Basically, they're being pinned as a security. So let's see how that goes. I know they have what is it, 3 pending lawsuits right now.
Yeah, they're looking for if you look on like through the job board, you'll see like they're always releasing new jobs, and their newest one they release
Yeah.
is legal counsel. So
Well, yo,
they're
Ripple Labs has money. I think they hired
for sure.
The former SEC
He had
CEO or something like that. So they definitely have
yeah,
money
he
to
was like
throw
a
at this case.
regulator, I think, at the SEC, the guy they hired.
Yeah, yeah. So he definitely knows his shit, and he'll definitely go to bat for XRP. They're probably paying him in Ripple and some cash. So
Yeah, but the U.S. doesn't fuck around. Like the SEC and prosecutors are like coming for the people who are laundering money and committing like,
yeah,
dark
yeah,
web
fraud.
deals and all that stuff. Like they seized like just under 20 million in Bitcoin. So just recently, and they came out and said they're going for 4,000 more Bitcoins. Um, and other crypto, I guess. Like they're just 4,000 worth in value. Um, but
Okay.
in Maryland, so they're just
Wow.
they I think they charge a couple people. I'm not sure how many, 3 or 4, something like that, for selling drugs and whatever on the dark web. But they seized all their Bitcoin, and if you think about it, like if they're seizing all their Bitcoin, are they holding that or are they selling it or what's the rule on that? Like they're gonna make some good money if they
Yeah.
just hold that.
I think last government, they auctioned off hundreds or thousands of Bitcoin, so they just auctioned it off.
Oh yeah. That's
So
pretty
I don't
cool.
know, like people are
Two
getting
two
Bitcoin for
American
cheaper.
citizens, or
Uh, it was the U.S. Marshals auctioning off $52 million worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, and it was seized from drug dealers. So
right?
I think like maybe it's the fair way to do it, or maybe they have rules and regulations like that. They whatever they seize, they have to auction off because maybe when
Well,
they
that's
seize
typically what they do.
cars,
Yeah.
yeah, cars and houses and things like that, they do auction off
But like cash,
it.
they keep, right? So
They keep for themselves.
well,
You know
yeah.
what? Um,
Especially from drugs, like they go after the
for
cash,
sure,
not the
for
drugs.
sure. Well, it was that first huge dark web website. It was called Silk Road,
Yeah, Silk
and the
Road.
CEO of Silk Road, when he got busted, they found hundreds of bitcoins on him. The lead detective, not sure if it was FBI or whatever it was, but the lead person on that investigation, he actually got charged for stealing bitcoins from what they took from what was his name? Whatever his name was, but he got arrested and they seized all the bitcoins from the website and from his wallets. And the lead investigator got charged for stealing. And not only did he steal once, like he got caught sending 100 bitcoins to his personal wallet, he did it a second time, so he got charged back to
Wow,
back.
what an idiot.
Yeah, well, I guess he thought he could get away with it the second time after he got caught and charged. He did it a second time. So you can just see, like, if you just seized $52 million worth of Bitcoins, well, they probably don't think, taking one or two would hurt. I don't think the officers are very well informed or knowledgeable with the whole blockchain. So they don't know that, if I take 10 grand or 10 bitcoins, usually if you do a drug raid or whatever, they can take 10 grand off the top, but if they take 10 bitcoins off, it's there for everybody
What
to
the
see.
fuck is a jug raid?
A drug raid, I'm saying.
Oh, a drug raid.
Yeah, I'm saying if they raided it, they found some cash, they could just take some cash, nobody would know. But if you take some bitcoins, it's on the blockchain
Yeah, it's
to see
public
forever.
ledger.
So, you see two transactions coming out of the FBI's Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah, there was these people in Ukraine too who were running like a similar sort of scam. Like they were just setting up new crypto exchanges. I think they got caught in charge with I think six currency exchanges, like crypto exchanges, but they probably,
Uh,
they don't. That's the ones that they know about, and they were like all young dudes, like under 25 or under 26, and they got caught in Ukraine by the police. So I think it's good that people are starting to sift out all these scams and that the different countries are going after them and they're all starting to work more together to actually regulate this. I think the US is leading the way, the SEC in particular, but the other countries are coming too for those people running scams in their backyards.
yeah, there's a ton of scams in any market, but crypto, I think they're targeting it the most because they're irreversible payments, and it's pretty hard to find the guy who scams you. Talking about scams and stealing people's crypto, I think it's estimated to be 6 million bitcoins actually lost. That's 4 million that's lost in wallets or maybe occurred by a death and you don't have the guy's, password or whatnot and they're lost. And then the other 2 million are stolen. That's what I saw in the report. So I wouldn't say 6 million are lost. I wouldn't count the 2 million stolen because they probably get put back into the ecosystem. They get used or spent or
Eventually.
traded eventually. So you could just say a good 4 billion of them are lost. And I would say that number keeps increasing with people forgetting their wallets and maybe people passing away and things like that. So I think we'll have around 15 million, not 21 million. I think 15 million is going to be our number for total bitcoins.
Yeah, well, it'll probably go up because I mean, you got all these people who are running their own version of a scam. Like Turkey, they had their national coin. Well, they were calling it like a national coin, Turk coin,
Mm,
and they just got outed as a Ponzi scheme, and that's like supposed to be their national crypto. So it's like, shit, how bold are
yeah.
these people to actually claim like this is the national coin of a whole country and they're running a Ponzi?
Well, it's like the Venezuelan coin, Petro.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are up for it because Venezuela, their dollar is worthless. You can't buy food. It's a very dangerous country. Um, but the guy running it and going for it, I think it's the vice president of Venezuela. He is charged for drug trafficking and he has ties to terrorist groups. I don't know if they were saying he was funding them and things like that. So and the country's been to shit. The people who are running the coin have ran their dollar to basically worthless. So what are they gonna do with the coin? You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're gonna run it down to zero. They're gonna take investors' money. I think they've taken investments from worldwide. I think I saw maybe like hundreds of millions of dollars towards their coin and towards the project itself. But I don't think that's gonna go to its people. I don't think it's gonna help the people there. Might sound pessimistic. I hope for the better for the people and the community there, but it's a lot of corruption, especially with the same guys who have been caught for trafficking and laundering money and whatnot. I don't know. I wouldn't really trust it. I wouldn't buy into it.
Yeah, it's good that they're coming out with trying to like create a national coin and whatnot, but yeah, it's definitely risky. Like a country like Venezuela that's in so much turmoil and their citizens are just fleeing outside the country at like record numbers because of all the shit that's going on there. Yeah, like man, obviously, the politicians are corrupt and something's going on behind the scenes there with the currency more than likely if it's created by the government.
Yeah, for sure. I'd rather buy USDT than Petro or the other coin you stated,
Turk coin.
Ozcoin. Turcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Bitcoin's still sitting strong right above where we talked about the other day, 6,700. what do you think? You think it's gonna stay steady, go up, go down?
Um, Honestly, I think we're gonna go down a bit. We're seeing a ton of bad news. Like, I think we're gonna, yeah, I think we can see some more drop. Like, I do think the fives is more possible now
Yeah.
than it going to seven. Um, it's just consolidating right now, but there's so much negativity. It is more red today than it was yesterday. We had that bounce, but everything's looking kind of negative right now. Just slightly though. The top five are all negative, nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. I mean, it's just under 6,700, but pretty much everything is red on the 24 hours. So
Yeah, pretty much
I'm
everything
looking
is.
for 5K level too to before we start a new market cycle.
Yeah, I hope that's the lowest we go. I don't want to start going into the fours and threes, and then we get that mass panic. Like I don't see it going that low. I don't see it like people are thinking it's gonna hit $0 or even less than $100. But you have to keep in mind that it costs something to make a Bitcoin. It's not like just
Right.
printing dollars. You can't just print dollars. It costs for the electricity, which is expensive
It
unless you're in the
costs something
country.
and there's a fixed amount. So
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can't
Like,
just create additional bitcoins. Like when they're all into circulation, they're all in circulation. It's not
yeah,
like the US
exactly.
government just printing money whenever they need. Like they could just print money, but you can't just create new Bitcoin once all the Bitcoin's in supply.
Yeah, it costs anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to mine a Bitcoin with all the electricity, with the time, with everything added up. So there's a specific cost to it. So these miners who are paying this much money, they're not going to let it go for anything under that, and they're the ones who are getting it the cheapest. So people buying in aren't going to let it go for what they got it for either. So it'll never go to that price.
Yeah.
I I don't think I'll see it as low as where I bought in ever again, and I hope that's the case, but I don't think I'll ever see it that low.
Yeah, well, me too, I hope. That would yeah. But
Yeah, talking about mining though, so ASIC miners are most popular for mining Bitcoin, and they've had a decrease of about 20-25% in sales. So they're actually dropping the prices on them so people can start mining again. The demand for them has gone down since Bitcoin's gone down, and the whole market has gone down in interest and price.
yeah, if you look at Google Trends, you'll see that the amount of searches went down since like November, December, but
Yeah,
also
yeah.
of last year. But also, I mean, if you look at Google Trends, the amount of searches is still higher than Beyonce. So it's like we're still trending. Like people will release all this stuff saying like, oh, it's going down or whatever, and Google look at Google Trends, it hasn't like it went down from number one or whatever. But
Yeah,
at the end of the
somebody stole
day,
that Google Trends on me.
yeah, at the end of the day, like this is just typical psychology of the market. People are
Definitely.
gonna be less interested when crypto's in a bear market, and just like stocks or
Yeah,
gold or
it's
silver.
all market cycles. It goes from disbelief to euphoria, back to disbelief, and
Right.
it goes from a low to a high, from like euphoria, feeling you're on top of the world, and then back down to depression, saying like, why the fuck did I ever invest into Bitcoin? I have people saying like, I should have never fucking put $1 into Bitcoin, and they're gonna sell as soon as it goes back to their price.
Right.
But they've missed out on the pump that comes after it. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
at the end of the day, those people are just either emotional investors or they don't believe in the technology long term.
For sure, those are all the people jumping in at the top, very top, and now they're unfortunately just holding because they didn't put any stop losses or they didn't take the time to learn any thing for risk management. But I think it's all normal. When the interest does come down, like as a trader, like looking at technical analysis, like that's just a normal market cycle. I was trying to compare crypto, like Bitcoin specifically, with or back in 2014, and I shared the chart, and I had so much hate. People saying like, you can't look at 2014. It's like not the same at all. Like there's so much more money. It's this, but like, yo, technical analysis literally means looking at the past price and volume at its past price. So looking at 2014 is like that's the thing you do at technical analysis. You look at past price and history and you compare the same patterns you saw back then, and you try to, you know, you try
It's the same
to
psychology at the end of the day, and
yeah, exactly.
if the market cycle is similar and the curve looks similar, the technicals are similar, and if there's more money, you're basically saying like that's more proof positive that because it's over like a larger amount that
Yeah,
it's the same curve or
it's
similar
true. It's
curve.
true. I think with the more money, all it is, it's going to be a faster paced curve. We're not going to wait 2 years for this bear market. Hopefully not. It'll be less, or was it 4 years for a bear market? So with more money and more interest, it's just going to be a quicker market cycle. That's all about
Right.
it. And our price is going to be in the hundreds of thousands. That's the goal.
Yeah. So have you seen anything cool? I mean, like any good movies you got, or like TV? What have you been watching?
In terms of TV, I'm not really watching TV, but I went to the movies. I've watched the new Jurassic World, which is kind of
Is it
honestly,
decent?
it's whatever. It's kind of shitty. I don't like the story. I think they're kind of overkilling it with so many more movies, like the Fast and Furious. You know, they're gonna come out with
Yeah,
Fast and Furious 10. The way they ended Jurassic Park is they're gonna come out with another one,
of course.
and I have a problem at sleeping at movies, and I sleep at a lot of them. So if it's boring, I did fall asleep at Jurassic Park because it was whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Games, I'm more into gaming, to be honest. I saw this new game. It was called um, what was it called? It was called Warfield, and they're announcing that they're gonna give cryptocurrency. They make a new coin, and they're gonna give cryptocurrency out for players who do good in the game. And then on top of that, you can use those coins you've won throughout maybe campaign or dual player, and then you can bet on yourself. So you could put 100 coins and then play somebody else for their coins, and then you could sell them after. So that's pretty cool. If they implemented that in Fortnite, I think Fortnite would just have the crown forever. They're the number one game right now. I think they made $200 million last month just on Fortnite, just on the things you could buy in the game.
Yeah, they're crushing it. I was thinking like how is a free game just smashing all these paid games like $70 games, and
For
their
sure.
upgrades are just absolutely crushing it. And they do a good job. Like they
For
constantly
sure. They
develop
do.
the game and make it better for the users and they
Well,
get
the
a lot of
season,
user feedback and they take
yeah.
that into account, which is good.
We'll have Drake playing it, and Drake made a song, and he's promoting it too. And
Yeah.
then
Ninja, the top one, he got sponsored by Red Bull and
yeah, pretty crazy.
somebody else too, some another big company. I've been watching the World Series of Poker though recently, and the World Cup a little bit, but I was watching some of the World Series the other day, and I don't know if you know who Phil Hellmuth is. He's like kind of like um, he's like the LeBron James of poker, but they call him like the poker brat. You know what I mean? So he's not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
LeBron James. He's more of like the controversial type guy. This guy came into the World Series of Poker main event, which is like the biggest event in all of poker, most televised, most watched. In like a I don't know, like a Thor outfit or something, but his hammer was sponsored by V Chain and his helmet was sponsored by Decent.bet, both crypto companies. So
Wow.
yeah, so shit's emerging. Like people are crossing over markets. I know a lot of the poker pros were big in the ICO scene like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. A lot of those guys living out in Bangkok. Um,
Because it's basically gambling still.
yeah, I mean it's educated risk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
No,
at the end
just
of the
kidding.
day, I mean whether you like it or not, it is
Yeah, yeah.
gambling. I mean, but it's an applicable technology. So at the end of the day, that's what's important, is that
Yeah.
the technology is being established and furthered and bettered for, for the betterment of the world, really.
Yeah, are you watching any of the FIFA? I would love to see a FIFA team get sponsored by crypto. I'm not sure if you've seen any of that or any crypto related ads in the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit here and there, not so much. I'm not a huge soccer fan. Like the only time I'll ever watch soccer is during the World Cup. But
Yeah, same. I'll be
yeah,
honest.
I watched a couple games. It's cool that there's so many upsets. I haven't seen any crypto ads or anything like that, but
Well, let me give you my winning team for FIFA, then let
do it
me
up.
give
Let's
you
hear the prediction.
my coin of the day.
Yep.
So FIFA, I have my money on Brazil. I'm not sure if you have a team
No, I
or
don't
you're just
really.
watching it.
I have no
Yeah.
clue, honestly. All I know is like all the top five teams got knocked out except Brazil. So you're picking the
Well,
favorite.
my coin of the day as well. I know you know it. Do you want to take a guess?
Your coin of the day
And you
today.
have it. You have it too.
EOS.
No. No, no, no. I'm gonna do Steam.
Oh, Steam.
Steam. Uh,
Sleeper. It's bottomed out pretty good over the last little bit.
yeah, that's why I'm looking at it too, because it's pretty cheap in the Bitcoin pair and in the dollar pair. You know, you could wait for Bitcoin to go up and try and get it under a dollar, but sitting at $1.50 at the all-time high around almost $8, it's pretty good gains. Also, if you're not familiar with the Steam like the blogging, Dan's pretty big on there, so maybe he could tell you a little bit about it.
Well, they have. I mean, that's what's cool about Steam, and that's why I like it, is that they have an underlying business, and that's why I invested into Video Coin as well, is because they're just tokenizing um, an existing profitable business in the tech world, and they're tokenizing it. So when you cross over, like if you can be rewarded to share your content, which is what you do anyways on like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, wherever, I mean, who's not going to do that? Eventually people are going to switch over to a platform that rewards them for sharing their content, and that's what Steam does. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of intricacies to how the actual Steam account works when you get on there and you start blogging, but when you boil it all down, it's pretty simple. You just power your account with Steam with the actual token. You lock it in there, and then you get reward basically for engaging with other people's content, for creating content that is seen by people and people engage with. You get rewarded. So it's pretty cool. You could reward others, and you get rewarded as well when you have an authority channel on there.
Yeah, and I've seen some articles make like $1,200, $1,500. So
Yeah.
imagine hitting one of those off, and imagine getting it like now while the coin's low.
Well,
Getting
that's
like
it. You're looking at the value of Steam when it's bottomed out, and you made like
yeah,
$1,000, $2,000 in tokens. So when when we get this next market cycle, and it goes on a bit of a bull run, then I think
all
it'll
your
be.
articles just 3-4x. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everything
exactly.
you've made
The earnings of your whole
account or
account
what?
on there. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Steam's my pick. And
It's a good
my
pick.
Steam hasn't been on par, but I'm going to start doing it while it's cheap, so I can get some cheap Steam.
Good call. Good call. All right. Well, I think it's time to wrap things up here. Thanks for listening in, guys. We will see you in the next episode of Barstool Bitcoin.